You're like, oh, he's an Android user. Red flag.
Red flag, absolute red flag. And then someone else, does the exact same one and gets 50 million views, like 50 million plus views.
I can't. That's insane.
That one really pissed me off so much.
Because you actually have really large eyes, but it's just like when you're laughing or smiling, then they get really small. They shrink. Your eyes are like a butthole. You'll be like, yum, yum. Or you'll be like,
I can't take myself seriously. I'm never coming back onto this podcast again.
The vibes are not great right now.
I'm never coming back to this podcast
Vibes
again.
could be better right now. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. That's really loud for me. Check check check. You say stuff?
Check check check. 1 2 3. Check check check. I hate the mover. He's so mean. I don't love him.
Why'd I agree to do this podcast? Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Okay. All right, sweet. Sweet.
What?
I like your outfit.
Thanks.
You like mine?
It'd be better if someone else was in it, but it's alright. It fits.
What do you mean if someone else was in it?
I'm just saying.
I am Charizard.
Are you?
I'm not simply playing a role here.
You're Charizard?
I am
a Pokemon. So when you buy Pokemon cards, you're buying Pokemon cards of yourself?
Only the Charizard ones.
Why can't you get them for free? If they're of you. What
do you think? Kobe Bryant gets free basketball cards of himself?
Yes.
No, he's dead.
Wow. So if you were dead, your cards would be more worthwhile.
Usually, memorabilia of celebrities goes up in value after they've...
That's assuming you're a celebrity.
Charizard is like the most popular Pokemon.
And please...
He's the most sought after.
Prove to me that you're Charizard. Prove to me that you're Charizard.
You want me to prove to you that I'm Charizard?
Mm-hmm.
See how I just spilled this water on me? It's super effective. Also, wings.
You're a very sad Charizard. You don't... Let's see.
Oh, and you're not a sad Pikachu?
I'm not a Pikachu. I don't claim to be a Pikachu. You're a Charizard who spends his days...
The person who has an electric tail.
Making YouTube videos about tech, which is not related to Charizard. What kind of Charizard are you?
Okay, you're actually role-playing Pikachu way more than I'm role-playing Charizard because you're already yellow. Like, I don't even see your face right now. You're just invisible. You just blend right in.
Is that why you chose me?
I see what you did there.
Because I'm yellow.
Yeah,
because I'm yellow.
Because you're the most authentic-looking Pikachu. I should probably introduce you. This is Mel, everyone. This is my girlfriend. She apparently thinks that's hilarious. That dating me is a joke. She's not wrong. But thank you for being on here. This is cool.
I feel awkward.
I mean, you generally are awkward. We're both pretty awkward socially. So this should be an interesting episode.
I think you're a little more awkward. The boomer is, I think, generally a little more awkward.
Well, getting started on the right foot here, I thought it would be fun to bring you on, and I've got some questions for you. Also, it's pretty hot in here. You're fine, though.
I'm fine.
I have like beads of sweat coming from my head.
When aren't you sweating?
That is true. I do I am a fire type.
Why? I should have said no when you asked about the onesies. I should have just been like, no onesies.
Come on, this is the best part. This is awesome. This is great.
Onesies?
This is like our natural. This is our natural habitat.
I deserve to be in a onesie.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I deserve to be in a onesie?
Because it gets to your head.
Look, just because I'm the most powerful and popular Pokemon in.
So show me your power. Do something. Do something cool.
Did that rattle your bones? Are you not entertained? Okay, well, I think it's cool that you agreed to come on and talk to me for an hour and a half, pretend like you like me. I actually asked Discord and Twitter to ask me some questions for you, and they delivered. We've got a couple good ones here. Are you ready?
No.
First question, Red Mango, why Kyle? This is kind of like a weird question. I feel like it's just more of a dig at me. Like, why him? There's like so many better choices.
I won't disagree with that.
Next question. The fun guy. When did you first meet Kyle, and what did you first think of him? So I think he means probably like in person, because we met online.
Yeah.
And we can go into that at some point. But when you first met me in person, what did you first think of me?
Let's see. That was... I can't. 23.
We met up for ramen. We were having lunch.
October 2021. Yeah, it was lunch.
It was October of 2021. So we've been dating almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
It'll be 2 years next month.
Yeah.
So, first impressions.
First impressions. So obviously, a very similar way. In my defense, I feel like when girls go out on dates with random guys, they should do their research completely. Just disclaimer to say that I knew who you were before.
Oh,
I knew you. I googled you. I did Google on you.
So you knew about my YouTube channel.
I didn't know who. Like when I first saw you, obviously you had like a larger following than a normal person. So I was like,
on
Instagram.
Because I messaged you on Instagram.
Yeah.
I slid into your DMs.
Yeah. You say it like it's a flex.
As any gentleman would these days. And then you started doing some research, some digging on me. You found the YouTube channel and
I was like, okay, whatever. It's this random guy on YouTube that I have no idea anything about.
Right.
He's his PCs, not my jam, but
sure.
I'll give him a shot.
Yeah.
And
you're like, oh, he's an Android user. Red flag.
Absolute red flag.
Green bubbles. What is it? Is it green bubbles that Android has?
Oh God. As soon as you first sent me a message, it was green. I was still till this day. It's so irritating when I have to send you a video. Google Drive, really? Google Drive.
You know what's annoying is that I bought you an iPhone for Valentine's Day, and you're already having like 30 issues with it. It's like a flagship phone that's a few months old, and you already got to take it to the Genius bar because it doesn't function at 90% of the capacity of an Android, of a 5-year-old Android phone.
Whatever. I still like iPhones better.
So anyway, what did you think of me? Did you think I was awesome?
Well, that's right. Genuine first impression. I was late. To be fair, I was late.
You're always late, yeah.
Always late.
Right.
And then when I walked up and I saw you, I was like, you were in a hoodie. I remember you were in that pale pink hoodie and jeans.
I was wearing a hoodie?
Yeah, the pale pink hoodie and jeans.
No, I was wearing a purple shirt. The first time we met?
Because it was a pink hoodie. I'm pretty sure it was a pink hoodie.
No, not the first time we met.
Yeah, it was.
That was the second time. That was the second date. The first time I was wearing my gray jeans with my white shoes, and I was wearing a purple V-neck. Fairly tight purple V-neck.
Okay, maybe.
100%, I know.
Anyways, I remember seeing you, and I'm like, he looks like a nerd.
Really? That's really sad, because I was trying my hardest to look cool. I was like, this is the least nerdy look that I can possibly achieve. Okay, and then you walk in 2 seconds, you're like, nerd alert!
You look like young. You look young.
I looked young?
You looked young. Like your outfit that you put together, it looked young. Nerdy, but not like geeky.
Okay. Young as in immature? Like
no.
He's dressing too young for his age?
No, not like too young for his age. Just more youthful side.
Okay.
Not nerdy, but not geeky.
Like he's got some cool gadgets on him, but he's not like playing D&D every night.
Yeah. And then like I remember like when I first we started conversing.
In person.
Yeah. Like when I first or at least your demeanor, your vibe. So zoomer. So zoomer.
Gen Z.
You were like more. You felt more down to earth than I expected.
Okay. Then would you say like the average guy that you maybe dated in the past?
It's like, well, I guess it's a lot of times like when you go on dates with I guess like guys who are older. Like I guess we'll talk about later, but when older, there's kind of generally they tend to be a little more stuck up, kind of more like I know more than you, I'm better than you,
I know better,
kind of, and you can feel that. I mean, you can feel the vibe, you can just sense it,
right?
Versus you were when I first saw you, I was talking to you, like even though we'd messaged before, in person is very different. Sure. So you're more down to earth, more open minded. So I was like, okay, this is different.
What's something that I did or said that made you think that?
In the beginning, it was just vibes and the way you talked openly. But I think
everything with Zoomers, everything with Gen Z is just vibes.
Demeanor. I'll put demeanor.
There's no explanation other than vibes.
Take out vibes. I'll say demeanor. Your demeanor.
You know how I know climate change is real? The vibes are off. The vibes of that glacier are so wrong right now.
I'm never coming back onto this podcast again.
You know, the vibes are not great right now.
I'm never coming back to this podcast
vibes
again.
Could be better right now. Okay, so you thought I seemed down to earth.
Yeah.
And approachable and all that. All right, I'll take it. Not too shabby. Moniker, when you first met Kyle, based on his physical appearance, were you surprised to know that he's actually part Asian and not part Latino?
I'm dead.
First of all, how dare you assume my gender? It is Latin X. Thank you, Moniker. God, I'm shadow banning you right after this pod. So did you think I was? Did you even know what I was?
I didn't know exactly what you were, but I knew you were a part Asian.
But you knew I was a guy, right?
Actually,
yeah, no, it's ambiguous.
Yeah,
it was a deep V. It was a deep V-neck that I was wearing.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't quite sure about that, but
it trips people up sometimes. So you just weren't sure. You're just like, eh.
I knew you were part Asian. I just don't know.
You did?
Yeah, I knew you were part Asian.
Just from the appearance, my appearance.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool. You thought I was part Asian. Was that like, I guess, a perk at all? Where you're like, oh, because I'm like, maybe we have more in common. Did it factor in? Was that like a plus for you, a minus for you?
I think it was.
Racist. Wow. Very racist.
In my defense, it's just
she only likes Asians.
Wow. Just certain cultural things are a little easier to understand.
Gotcha.
Connect over. That's it.
Yeah. Like oh, he probably takes his shoes off when he goes in the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that. That's a big one.
Exactly. But
which I do.
Still, every day I learn more and more about how much of a disappointment you are to the Asian community.
What, because I don't save every single trash bag? Because I don't need 50 million trash bags on hand?
You have barely any trash bags.
I have... We won't even get it. We're not even going to...
5.
Moving on.
If that.
This is my podcast.
So should I leave?
You're in my world, Pikachu.
Okay.
I chose you and I can unchoose you.
Okay, unchoose me. Pikachu can leave.
No, just stay a little bit longer. We don't have enough content yet.
Wow.
You can leave afterward. Once we've been filming for an hour.
After I've just like, okay, all right, done.
We got a little bit more on the timer. Austin Evans. Oh, Austin. You know Austin. You met Austin once.
Austin.
My YouTuber friend. He's a very cool guy. He was on a recent episode, actually. How often do you need to be... This is a question to me, but you could probably answer it. How often do you, Kyle, need to be stopped from buying cases of Pokemon cards?
Is that a question?
Do you have any input on this one?
It was bad.
What do you mean it was bad, meaning it's good now? It's better. It's better.
I will admit it's better, but when I first started buying Pokemon cards, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, should I break up with him? This is addiction.
You did not think that.
No, okay.
That's a little extra.
It was pretty bad, though. I've never seen anyone just go ham. But I guess, to be fair, slowly you're making smart decisions. Like, you're buying that cards versus, like, buying packs and getting, like, one.
Right.
So it's
rather than gambling and buying a bunch of packs to hope that I get a good card, I just go to eBay and buy the card I want.
Because you spend so much money on the packs, it's more worthwhile for you to just
I just can't afford that lifestyle anymore. I've wisened up. You're right. Thank you for acknowledging that.
Gotta give you a little bit of credit.
Yeah.
Just keep you chugging along.
That's right.
Just enough.
Thank you. I think. Roberto, does she like K-pop? Who's her favorite group? Okay, first of all,
of course,
Roberto,
of course.
Just because my girlfriend's Asian doesn't mean you can hurl nonsensical stereotypes at her. That being said, you do like K-pop. You do like it quite a bit.
I mean, like, it's okay. I feel like
Roberto is actually 100%
he's asking if I'm like a Korea boo.
A Korea boo.
Like, that's the question really asking. Are you a Korea boo? I'm not a Korea boo. Like, I used to listen to K-pop. I was never a Korea boo. I was never obsessed.
What is a Korea boo for people who have no idea what we're talking about?
A wannabe Korean.
Oh, okay.
They generally it's like a wannabe Korean who's like super into K-pop, super into K-dramas, just like
okay.
Which I'm not like trashing on. Like, if you like Korean culture, it's like
is that like the equivalent of a weeb, like someone who likes Japanese, like
exactly.
Japanese culture?
Yeah, like that.
Okay, gotcha.
Like, I appreciate Korean dramas, Korean K-pop, but I'm not obsessed with it.
Right.
Like.
Were you watching? Didn't you say like you were watching enough K-dramas at one point where you like could almost understand what they were saying a little bit.
Okay, that is true. There was one point where
okay. You have to be watching a lot of something to pick up a language like that.
But I guess at that point in time, like here's it's one of my mouth things. My mouth things. It's like, you know how I only watch shows if it's completed and short, and I know I can finish it.
Yeah.
And Korean dramas fall into that category.
I see. Yeah.
That's why I watch them.
Right. Yeah. You do seem though to have more of an interest in Korean culture, more so than your own. Like I would say more than like, because you're half Taiwanese and half Japanese. But I remember when I first met you, you only drink soju. You had only spent really most of your time like partying in K-Town. You had only really like you had dated Korean guys a lot. And
outing me.
And like you just like when I asked you like when we were like where do you want to travel to, you're like Korea.
Okay.
And we did go to Korea, and it was great. But it's always seemed to me like you do really enjoy Korean culture.
I think it's because in terms of LA, the one culture that's really boomed is Korean culture. Okay. So I'm most exposed to that.
Just exposure, yeah.
And just like in terms of like, I guess everything you've listed is very like there's specific reasons for everyone.
Okay.
For like partying in Koreatown. That's just because that was the closest Asian area to my college.
Well, what ethnicity did you mostly hang out with in college?
Koreans. But that's because
boom, busted.
That's because the organizations that I was in was mostly had Koreans.
Well, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I was just pointing it out. Just pointing it out. And also it was a good excuse to bring up your actual ethnicity, half Taiwanese, half Japanese.
Yeah.
And you have family in Taiwan.
Yeah. And
all your Japanese relatives are here. Mm-hmm. So they're like, well past several generations. Yeah. Very Americanized and stuff. Yeah. Actually, that leads me to a question. What do you think are the biggest differences between you and I, you having been sort of raised in more of like an Asian household and me being like a Hapa, which is Hapa meaning like half white, half Asian, right?
Yeah, well, traditionally it's like Japanese and white, but generally over time, American Asians use it more so just to mix white.
Generalized. Okay, so what do you think are the fundamental differences between us in that regard? So many. There's so many,
but it's hard. It's so hard to think of the specifics. Okay, like you said, plastic bags. You're like, okay, to be fair, a lot of Asians have too many, but you have a lack of, like, you have barely any plastic bags.
I've never like run out of plastic. I've never been like, oh no, I need more of these. I've always had some on hand.
Yeah, because you always buy plastic bags at the grocery store. You never bring them.
They're like 10 cents.
Time. But like,
it's so much more convenient. Like, who's gonna remember to bring a bag? That is a very LA thing to bring your own bag. And I agree, it's better for the environment and all that. Mm-hmm. I'm very bachelor in that regard.
Very bachelor. I think a lot of your bachelor things are just very non-Asian.
I think for sure, like you like are less wasteful. You are way less wasteful than I am in terms of like when you wash your hands at the kitchen sink, mm-hmm. you dry them with a towel or a rag.
You just grab another paper towel.
Or I just paper towel it up every time. If there's a little spill on the counter, you'll grab a different rag that you have dedicated just for that purpose, and I'll just go for the paper towel. So I go through those a bit faster.
Do you know what kills me?
What kills you?
Your fridge.
My fridge?
Your fridge kills me.
Why? Because it's just 90% condiments?
Yeah, they're just condiments.
And they're like white condiments?
It's empty. There's no condiments. Like,
it's a bachelor fridge.
I've like developed enough cooking skills where I can make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
But your house is so bare with purely just condiments. I literally am
you can't like hard mix some mustard in with some beer?
Yeah, it's perfect.
You never try. Don't knock it till you try it. Anything else? Anything else that stands out in terms of
soy sauce packets?
Soy sauce packets.
Like sauce packets and like
what about them?
Utensils and stuff.
I have those.
The only reason you have soy sauce packets right now is because I told you to keep them. Because you never refill anything, and the reason why you have soy sauce packets right now is because you never refilled the soy sauce. So I told you to keep the soy sauce packets. So we had soy sauce.
We have been living on soy sauce packets for a while. That's funny though that you said that because I just bought soy sauce. I just bought a full bottle of Kikkoman soy sauce. So I get there. It's just the longer intervals before
like 10 years.
Replenishing things. 10 years?
The last time you had soy sauce was just because I bought it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably true. That's probably true. But to be fair, I don't really eat that many things with soy sauce too often.
Enough to keep the packets and actually use the packets?
like the few packets that I've had have gotten me by these last few months because I don't really eat rice that much. You know, I don't like cook rice.
But you would have kept those packets before if I didn't tell you to keep them.
True. Yeah, it goes back to the plastic bag thing. You keep every spare thing that you can, like freebies that you get from any restaurant, or like do you keep the toiletries from hotels? Like if they have like little shampoo bottles, do you like take the leftovers?
I have, because my family's built up so many over the years.
You already have enough.
I only keep it if it's like something I know it's good quality or I'm gonna use.
Okay.
Really.
Okay.
Because like they're honestly really nice. For, like lotion ones are really nice for just putting in your purse.
That's fair. And they're like travel size, so you can travel with them. Exactly, again, TSA won't knock you for it. Yeah. That's true. All right. But I do take my shoes off in the house. That would be minimum. That would be a problem though if I didn't.
If you didn't,
you would. We'd have a conversation about it.
No kidding. Yeah,
you would sit me down and go.
Every weekend going to your house, walking around, not being able to walk around barefoot because you just walk. Oh.
I genuinely like. I agree. Like it's. I don't understand people who just wear their shoes indoors in their house all the time. Like when they're watching TV and like they're on the couch and their shoes are on. I'm just like.
I don't know how to function like that.
There's so many things wrong with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like the cleanliness thing and then just not comfortable.
Yeah.
Like who wants to wear shoes?
Exactly.
You wear shoes because you have to. Because you don't want to
like,
burn your feet or step on a nail.
Yeah.
But people who just wear it, you know, in their living rooms and stuff, it's wild to me. But I was going to ask, this is a question from me. This is just on behalf of everyone else who didn't ask this question, but I think it's an interesting one, is what do you do for a living? Besides tolerate my ass. I thought this would be a good segue to go into what you do.
I'm trying to start my own business.
You're trying to, well, you have started your own business, and it's in the very early stages, but it has begun.
Yeah.
And how would you describe what you do to someone who has no idea?
What I do is DIY gifting.
DIY gifting.
So they're kind of like, well, it started off as just like kind of posting online ideas of how you can use basic items around the house to create a custom gift for your, partner, significant other, someone you love.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually, as of recent, it's turned into like I sell kits while also, providing free ideas online as well.
Okay. So it started with you like sort of hand making like kind of arts and crafts gifts that are intended for your SO or whoever.
Right, exactly.
Little love notes in them and stuff like that. And then that evolved into, now you've done actually a couple launches, actual product launches where you've developed kits.
Yeah.
So that you kind of get people halfway there. You give them a head start and you give them all the materials they need to replicate these gifts.
Yeah, I do all the tedious work basically for them.
Right. Yeah. And but you make them feel like they're doing everything on their own.
Right. Exactly.
But you're holding their hand through it kind of with these kits. And for people who don't have access to the kits, because international shipping's super expensive, probably costs more than the kit itself. Yeah. You have templates that you sell online, so people can actually print it out themselves. And
exactly. Yeah.
That's a very, like, I remember when you told me that concept, I was like, I've never even heard of that being a thing. And do you even know if that's like if anyone else is doing that?
I don't think so. Like, obviously DIY, kits and stuff exist.
Right.
But DIY kits of, like, gifting doesn't really exist. Because in the first place, like, the designs that I make, I don't think are really... Well, obviously, the designs I make by myself. Yeah. But, like, the concept of, like, DIY just gifts.
Yeah.
That, have notes in them. Because, like, all my gifts, they have notes in them.
Sure.
I don't think that's really common.
Yeah, no. And I think it's a great idea, too, because... well, I'm surprised that it's not already a thing, because I feel like so many people struggle with knowing what to gift someone, their partner or whoever, because most people like in the US like have everything that they need, or like whenever when you get to a certain age, if you're not a child, anytime you're asked what do you want for your birthday, Valentine's, you say nothing. You go, no, I'm good. Don't buy me anything.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But you still are going to get that person something. Yeah. You're going to get them something anyway. Yeah. So it's like, what do you get the person who has everything or doesn't want anything? And I think there's always something that's sentimental about a handmade gift.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It's like, it shows that someone didn't just go on Amazon and, buy something in 2 clicks.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
a gift card. It's like they spent time and they put thought and effort into it.
Yeah.
And that means a lot to a lot of people. But the flip side of that is that it can often take a really long time to conceptualize a gift like that and to even have the skills or the know-how of how to put something like that together that's actually presentable and of quality. Right, so your product kind of solves all those issues.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because like I think for me, when I like ideate it, create it, and everything, like in total time it takes like 8 to 12 hours for me to just like think of it, put together, and and the ideating part, like that's might take days, even longer.
Right.
Versus the kits, like I put it specifically together, so it takes like maybe an hour, if that.
Right. So you shorten the process. You shortcut the process for them a lot.
Yeah.
How do you even come up with all these concepts? Because not only are you making the kits and the templates, but you're also posting new ideas, fresh gift ideas to your Instagram, like all of your different social media platforms, multiple times a week. So that means you're coming up with 2 or 3 fresh concepts every single week. How do you ever run out of ideas? Do you get writer's block, or like, what the heck am I going to do now? You've already made so many. Does that ever get hard?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I get, well, nowadays I've made so many by now. It's like I always run out of ideas. But so I spend like, I'll be driving around just when me doing my daily stuff, I'll be thinking about it constantly. What do I make next? And I'll look around, just see what's, like maybe I'll see an oven. Well, actually, you brought up the oven, actually.
Oh, right.
A gift idea.
I think we were just in the kitchen. I was that looks like you could make that out of paper, right? What about an oven? And you did do like a microwave.
I ended up doing a microwave with hearts in it. It was like, you warm my heart.
Right.
So like, it's like things seeing day-to-day items, or whether a lot of people, the algorithm has shown me that people like snacks. So I'll do things based off of snacks.
Sure.
And then I just look at these over and over, think, and eventually I'll come up with something.
Yeah. That's I think it's interesting that snacks are the most popular thing, but not too surprising, given that it's like universally recognized.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like everyone from any culture background knows a bag of Lay's chips when they see it,
right?
Or like
exactly.
a bag of M&Ms or something like that. I think. One thing I wanted to mention is that you have a lot of copycats.
Oh, God.
There are a lot of people who just plagiarize your work, steal your ideas, because you're getting millions of views across all these platforms at this point. Like, you're very much not a small channel anymore, I would say, which is amazing since you only started this, in November of last year. So you've scaled a lot in that time with no help from me in terms of like no shout outs, I haven't plugged you at all.
You're going to shout me out to your audience. Do you have any gifts?
Yeah. Tell all your girlfriends and wives to follow my girlfriend. Like nothing like that. You've scaled this all on your own, which is super impressive. I mean, you already have your 100,000 plaque for YouTube in the first few months of doing this. It took me years, like 3 or 4 years of doing YouTube constantly before I even got to that point. So you're really scaling quickly, but you also, with that, has come a bit of a curse, which is people are starting to notice you and they're stealing your concepts and not crediting you at all. What's that been like?
Stressful. Well, I guess it's like you put hours and hours into it, and just next thing you know, someone just took your idea, and you're just like, what's with this? And then like for some reason, like for example, my content, for some reason on some platforms it does really well, at others it doesn't, and it's really sad to see like when it doesn't do well on, for example, TikTok, and then someone else does the exact same one and gets 50 million views, like 50 million plus views.
That's insane.
That one really pissed me off so much. But it's like
beyond frustrating.
In the beginning I did reach out to the creators who did it to me, and it's like it becomes like, sometimes they're nice, other times it's a back and forth,
right?
And that would just cause me even more stress and pain, or like I'd spend days just pissed off, and when I'm like with other people,
right?
And so eventually it reached a point where I was like, I see it, I'll screenshot it just because I just to keep it.
You never know when you'll need it.
You never know when I'll need it. But at the end of the day, I just I stay silent, I don't do anything, because at the end of the day, it takes a greater toll on my mental health than any better outcome that I could get. Yeah,
and it's not like it's hard to prove that these are your original concepts. Like you don't have trademarks or like patents on anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like unless you have some legal recourse, like you can't. There's not a whole lot you can do other than it would just kind of cause you a lot more stress and stuff.
Yeah.
I do remember you telling me that there was that one girl who was stealing a lot of your stuff, and you flagged her profile or something, her Instagram, I think, and
she took my actual video.
She took your actual. Oh,
she
just
took
stole
my
the video.
actual video.
Wow.
So
okay.
if they steal my actual video, I can flag them.
Right.
And actually, YouTube's really good with this.
Yeah.
Where they have a system where they'll automatically tell you.
Oh,
but yeah, so that one was a different platform. My exact video.
Right.
And she was actually selling my.
She's
selling my stuff, like my concepts, my complete idea. My video, and so I flagged it. And obviously, these platforms, they don't take your stuff down with one video.
Right.
So obviously she had been flagged multiple times before.
Yeah.
And so then it was like I guess I was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, because her profile got deleted.
Yeah, it did.
Right? It was her Instagram profile.
It got suspended, and then eventually I don't think it ever came back or whatever.
And then she reached out to you, and she was begging over and over, like multiple messages, right?
Yeah, she was like begging me, and then even I think her brother reached out to me, begging me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I did what I was supposed to do. I filled the paperwork out right. If you want to, figure it out with Instagram, be my guest. But
did you try contacting her before you flagged or reported, or did you ever have an exchange with her before any of that, or did you just kind of flag it?
No, I just flagged it.
Yeah.
Because it's like sometimes I'll be like I'll be a little more lenient. To be fair, I have become less and less lenient about it.
Yeah.
Because it's
which
like, I don't have the time or capacity to reach out to every single person.
Of course.
And especially, but more so, she was selling my stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. I was going to say, like, this is an adult, It's like she knows, like, plagiarism is wrong.
Exactly.
That's already a strike.
Yeah, exactly.
But then try to profit off of your concepts and your ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, that doesn't warrant a courtesy notice.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's like immediate takedown, cease and desist.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, but it's probably kind of satisfying to see your profile go down.
Kind of satisfying.
I mean, stoked.
It's like
if not for anything else other than knowing that she's not going to do that again.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's more so just like at least this what little I could do.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the damage, because actually, honestly, the video got a lot of views. At the end of the day, there is more. She had done more damage to me. And then, because the whole point for me is that if they repost the video, not only, they sell it, whatever, that's the least of my worries. The biggest worries is they show the video and other people who are also doing the same thing as her, making gifts, selling it, it just becomes a whole spiral, like just branches out.
Yeah, right.
And it's beyond something beyond something I could control.
Sure.
So
that's insane. It's just impossible to, at some point, it's impossible to police any of it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's just it's well beyond outside of your control.
Exactly.
It's unfortunate. Now, like I said, you've already just amassed a huge following so far, but not easily, I would say. I know that your grind schedule is pretty intense. How many hours a week would you say you work on average, if you had to guess?
I guess right now it's a little more rough because I'm like launching every week in addition to posting my content.
Like launching a new kit
every week.
Every week. That's insane.
So it's like, I think right now it's like 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
But like, it's like, because I'm just starting shop and everything. It's like, you've got to pay the dues.
Yeah, for sure. So. And what's your sleep schedule like?
You know this is so bad, bro.
Yeah, but they don't.
It's so bad. So I think I spend most of the night awake, working. I'll go to sleep around maybe, because I have post in the morning for the algorithm, whatever. And I'll go to sleep around 10:30, 11.
Yeah.
And then I'll wake up later.
In the morning?
10:30, 11.
Yeah.
And then I'll wake back up, let's see, 11, probably like afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the afternoon. And I sleep like...
It's kind of nice though, right? Like,
it is nice because I wake
quiet.
up. It's quiet. I wake up earlier. I mean, I wake up more easily. So I sleep around like maybe 6 hours.
Right.
But it's like I wake up a lot easier because it's daytime.
Yeah.
And then at night, I think the best part though is at night there is no sound, so I can film without having to pause and just wait and pause and wait.
That's a game changer.
Yeah.
It's just so much more efficient. You don't have to wait for like a car or a plane to go by.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah.
You just get way more work done.
Exactly.
I feel it.
And like you said, it's quiet, so no one's like texting me or messaging me. Like my phone's like really quiet, so it's like I can focus.
Right. What's crazy to me though is that like whenever you and I hang out, because we hang out usually like Friday through Sunday. You'll come out over like Friday evening or something, and we'll be together till Sunday evening. And for those days, for that time, you have like normal sleep schedule, like
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
So I don't know how that works. Like how your brain functions. Like how do you stay awake with me all day when 4 or 5 days out of the week you're nocturnal?
Well, I don't know. How do I do that?
You're young.
Because I'm young. You're a boomer. I'm young, so like.
Thanks. That's a roundabout way of calling me old, and I appreciate it. Yeah, it's very, very fascinating though. Do you see yourself somewhere in particular in like 10 years going with this business plan?
I mean,
where do you think you'll be?
I hope to build the business to a point where it's like I'm able to sell my products in stores. Like
having your kids. By the way, the name of your business is Gifty by Mel, right? So is that like a hope or an aspiration? Is like having Gifty by Mel kits being sold in a store like Hallmark, or like a gifting store or Target or wherever?
Exactly, because that's the only way the business will truly be sustainable.
I see.
Because remaining in online business where it's a combination of like me posting free DIY gifts and also posting promotional videos about the kits.
Right.
It's very unsustainable. I'm just draining myself out right now. Just doing both.
Right.
So the only way for it to be sustainable is to create, an income elsewhere, like getting deals with not manufacturers, but like stores and stuff.
Yeah.
And then focusing more so on, building social media content purely just for social media.
Right. But you've always seemed to have a really good grasp on like these larger business ideas. You do have a background in business, I would say, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did work. I worked in e-com, and I was worked with the CEO. So
yeah,
it was, and he was like a small business, and I was handling a lot of different things. So I got to see things firsthand. So that helped a lot.
And you graduated USC with a major in business, right?
Yeah, that's true.
How much of that degree do you feel like you're using now? As someone who has started their own business?
I wish I was using it more, but I don't think I'm using it. There are small things I did learn because I did take entrepreneurship classes. That's what really pulled through.
Yeah.
Maybe accounting helped a little bit in the beginning. Bits and pieces everywhere.
Okay.
But I think most of the business stuff that I did learn was when I graduated, couldn't find a job, COVID hit, and also towards the end of USC, I was one of the cliche business people who was like, I want to start a business.
Yeah.
And I was listening to podcasts, reading stuff, whatever, and a lot of stuff that I know now is just from all those resources that I built up.
Yeah.
I think the college experience, it's such a expensive school. I should have taken more advantage out of the people and resources that were there.
Right.
But I'm
networking
stuff, but I think you've mentioned before, I'm very much I like my own little space. I'm quiet, I'm awkward, I just like being in my own little bubble.
Right. I mean, I'm kind of the same way. I think maybe that's probably why we each have our own small businesses where I'm just in control of my bubble. I don't have to leave my bubble.
Exactly.
Which is, once you are in that bubble, you never want to leave. You're you can't imagine going into work every day or having to see people.
Exactly. Yeah.
You and I are just textbook introverts. I mean, I definitely feel like I'm more sociable. In social situations, I talk, I blab more, and I can be extroverted when I want to be. Whereas I feel like you're actually more of a textbook introvert. Yeah. Although when it's just you and me, you're bouncing off the walls. You're yay! And just shuffling around the house and doing cartwheels. I'm like, why don't you do this when we're out in public? You're just yay! But yeah, I gotta buy you a bounce house at some point. Well, thank you for sharing all the business stuff with us. That's very, very interesting, and you're crushing it. You're gonna be wildly successful in no time flat. So, very exciting stuff there. Some quirks. I want to talk about quirks.
Quirks.
These are this is one of the segments that we do on the show sometimes, and I pulled a couple, just one or two from Discord here, and then we can talk about some of our own quirks. And this first one's from Frempy. He said, I can't let my phone battery percentage go below 50%.
That's such a Zoomer thing.
I have to plug it in. And the same with fuel. I have to fill up the tank in my car when it's at half a tank. This is a Gen Z thing? You think this is a young person thing?
I think I've seen that kind of stuff on TikTok. Of course, that's so Zoomer. Posted on TikTok, and it's it's because I think it's Gen Z has such high anxiety. Those are the small things peak their anxiety, really push it.
Interesting. Which is funny though, because you don't seem to be able to keep your phone battery above 10%.
Okay, to be
your
fair,
phone is always on the verge of death, and I don't understand how.
That's because most of the time we've been dating, my phone was old. I was using it a lot. It was old. Like, that's why you bought me the new phone. And during that time, my phone was draining like crazy.
Okay, so it was just like end of life.
The battery was really bad. The battery was really bad, yeah.
I see. Yeah. So you don't have a problem with that anymore?
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. If it's like getting low, I'm like, that's fine. Like, I don't panic.
Yeah, right.
I trust I can charge my phone in my car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like gas, like I'm actually lazy, so I always like it's very last minute before I get gas.
Interesting.
But I don't know about you though.
Well, for me, I'll wait till the last minute as well for gas.
Oh, that I do know. Last time I had to drive because.
Yeah. I'll leave it till like the light comes on.
Yeah.
And even then I'll be like, I got like 10 more miles in here. I think I'm good. But is there anything OCD like that you have? Where you're very particular about certain things, or
you mentioned this on the podcast before, the microwave. For you, always.
I have to stop the microwave before it reaches 0.
But I need it to reach 0.
You need it to. Oh, so you're the opposite.
Yeah.
Because it's like a completionist thing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like it has to finish. Like, it has to complete.
It has to finish. It's not ready.
Exactly.
It needed 2 more seconds of heating up.
Exactly.
It's 2 seconds colder than it should be.
It has to be like that satisfaction of it.
I don't know. I've seen too many movies. I've seen too many bombs go off in Hollywood where I know what happens when you hit 0. It's not good. You never want to see it reach 0. But you do have a lot more quirks than that. One that I'll mention is your shuffling. Let's talk about your shuffling. What's up with that? You do this thing where you like the first time we started dating, you were like over my house and stuff, and I'd be like just on the couch and you'd be coming back from the bathroom or going to the bathroom and I would just hear this like these feet shuffling because you'd be wearing socks in the house and I'd just be here like I'm like, is she like is she skiing in my house? Like, what is this sound? And you like that's what you do, like you shuffle, you dig your feet, your toes kind of into the ground as you hobble about my house or anywhere you go. It's not all the time, but often you will do this shuffling thing. Why do you do that, and how long have you been doing that?
I think I've always done it.
You've always done it. I've always done it as long as you can remember.
I think my parents pointed it out before. Like, it's just something I've always done. But I do it because this might sound dumb, but for me, my logic is I'm lazy, and it is easier to drag your feet around versus actually have to pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down versus just shift.
That is the laziest thing I've ever heard you say, and I'm not surprised at all.
You're not lazy?
Yeah, but that's...
Who's the one who didn't remove the lip from the...
That was because I just didn't know. That's because of just pure
I looked at your jar
ignorance.
Today. There's a light for it.
There's a light for it?
That tells you when you need to clean the lip.
But see, I also don't pay attention to things.
I do know that too.
I don't read signs. I don't read signs. I don't read labels.
You don't.
I don't read instructions.
Every week I'm looking for the chili oil, and it's in the fridge.
I just go through life with my head down, literally. But yes, you are a shuffler. I've learned to I've come to find it very endearing over the 2 years we've been dating, and it's also nice that I always have, I can always like pinpoint exactly where you are in the house. It's very convenient.
Just listen, like.
Yeah. Also, you do a wobble dance. You do a wobble dance sometimes, like if you're happy and you're walking, or you'll do this.
Yeah.
You'll stick your arms out like this, kind of like low.
Yeah.
And then you'll just go, like you do a penguin walk.
Yeah.
A penguin walk. What's that about?
It's happy.
It's just happy?
I'm just happy.
It just means you're happy.
Yeah. See, it's a good sign that you see it.
Okay.
I guess you're checking off some check marks in the relationship.
Okay. So if you're, well, that's good. That's good to know. So if you're shuffling, you're lazy, and if you're wobbling, you're happy.
Yeah.
Okay. See, these are all signs that I need to pick up on, so I don't neglect my boyfriend duties.
Like you don't already.
Hey. hey. Now. You also make strange noises from time to time, right? You make these strange kind of like incoherent, like, let's say we're watching a movie and like you lean on my shoulder and you kind of get comfy.
Yeah.
You'll be like, yum, yum, yum. Or you'll be like, yum, yum.
I can't take myself seriously. Yum, yum. Oh.
And I'm just like I remember the first few times I was just like, did she say something? Was that a question?
Do you know what I'm thinking? You make me think about
Is
now.
she broken?
I think you mentioned like the TikTok lives where there's a girl who's just like she gets literally paid to just make those little anime noises. And
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Right. Those little ticks. Like anytime someone gives her like a gift or whatever, she has a thing she'll say or like a motion she'll do or a sound she'll make.
Yeah. I want to clarify. I am not like that. It is not like that.
Yeah, right. It's not a weird kink thing.
That would look weird on both of our ends.
Yeah, it would. But what does that also mean? Like when you make those noises, is it just like you're happy or
just happy? I'm just
happy,
satisfied in my place, comfortable. Yeah.
Comfortable. It's almost kind of like when someone goes,
exactly, yeah. Like
but
that.
you do it a bit more vocally.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like that.
That sounds so wrong. I can't.
Yeah, that would be really awkward in public if you made those noises anytime we held hands or something.
God.
Restraining order. Also, wait, so I've been like laying into you. Do you have any quirks of mine that you recognize? Anything that I do that's like
your bathroom trips?
Oh, my bathroom trips. Yeah.
That was the first thing that popped in my head.
That's not so much a quirk, more as it is like me being an old person. I don't know what's been up with my digestion lately.
It's like
we'll eat a meal, like we'll go to lunch and then be walking around like an outdoor place or whatever, and immediately be like, we have to go home. I did that like the other day, and I was like, you're like, what? I was like, my stomach is not having it, and I don't know what's been going on lately, but I should probably get that checked out.
I tell you to get checked out, and you're just like,
I mean, I'll do it, when I'm on the brink of death.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in time.
Exactly, yeah.
Before the impending doom. But yeah, I have been taking more frequent bathroom breaks lately, and I think maybe, I don't know if that's a sign of me aging or I haven't changed anything about my diet.
Yeah, you should get it checked out.
I'll get it checked out. Maybe there's just a parasite just destroying my insides.
Oh my God.
Oh, your liver is half eaten. So yeah, thank you for bringing up the bathroom thing. I'm really glad that that's out now. Someone clipped that. There was something that I thought would be fun to do. You've seen like on like the YouTube videos where they have people answer questions that are from Google autofill.
Oh yeah.
So I want to do that, but type in why do Asians, and then let the autofill generate.
Can't.
You're gonna be the voice of authority on this one.
I'm the voice of the.
First autofill question: why do Asians have big calves? Do they?
That's an interesting question.
That's the first one, which I wouldn't have expected.
I wouldn't expect that, but I think, well, okay, I grew up playing basketball.
Yeah.
So yes, I don't know if I'm biased, but I think I remember Asian guys having large calves.
Okay. Well, but you were also around just basketball players constantly.
I had really large calves.
Yeah. But do you think you always had large calves? Like that was just genetic, or do you think they were developed because of basketball? I honestly think
it really could have been because of basketball. So I have a very biased opinion on that.
Because you played basketball for what, 12 years?
Yeah.
Like you were really like, basketball was your life for over a decade.
Yeah.
And you're really good at it. I've seen you play. Kick my ass. Not saying much. Bar's very low. But would you say on average, the average Asian has larger than normal calves, or do you think that's just that's a weird question?
I don't.
Right.
Now I'm curious. Like
I'd never heard that either.
I've never heard that either.
This next one makes a lot more sense, which is why do Asians have smaller eyes?
Why do Asians have smaller eyes? I actually think I've seen a video on this or whatever, like biological, whatever, Europe, whatever, just descent and crap. I don't know though.
Right, because you actually have really large eyes, but it's just like when you're laughing or smiling, then they get really small. They shrink. It's like your eyes. Your eyes are like a butthole. Like the circumference, just the range of the circumference is
somehow
just
it always goes back
insane.
to certain podcast conversations always goes back to butts.
Anything near the butt.
Yeah.
This is the kind of classy show that you're on right now. But would you say that there's got to be some evolutionary reason why?
There is. I forgot what it is, but there definitely is.
Maybe it's because Asians are so smart, they don't need to see.
So you're saying I'm smart? Twice as smart as you?
No, because your eyes are big. Maybe you get smarter. Do you think you get smarter when your eyes get smaller? Like anytime you laugh, your IQ goes up 20 points.
What's that?
You're getting real smart right now. You're dumb. You're dumb again.
What? I'm going to bite you, bro.
Why do Asians have straight hair? They don't all.
No, like my hair's naturally a little wavy.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, Asian guys, like you're half, but even full, like they have like really curly hair.
Yeah.
So I don't.
That's not.
But I think they're just talking about girls, like have really straight hair. A lot of them do.
Okay.
Some of them do, but it's not. I don't think that's.
I would say on average.
Like there's other ethnicities that have much straighter hair.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So maybe that's just like a stereotype.
Yeah, I mean, I guess those are probably all stereotypes. Maybe the question is,
what
is it?
Some of these are definitely some truth to them. For example, I think this one has some truth to it. Mm-hmm. Why do Asians have good skin? I feel like y'all do have really good skin. Your skin is fucking flawless, and so is your mom's. Yeah. Both of you have flawless skin.
I think I have a very complex reasoning to it.
Let's hear it. I want to hear it.
I guess I spent a lot of time thinking about cultures and differences in cultures. I probably grew up in LA. Mm-hmm. So I think Asians very much are like the whole family loyalty, don't dishonor your family, whatever. It's because Asians care about appearance.
Uh-huh.
So good skin. Appearance.
So you think because Asian people want to make their parents proud and impress people that they like that they develop their skincare routine, that they have a better skincare routine?
Okay.
What do you mean?
Okay, so Asians care a lot about their appearance to other people.
Like physical appearance or
everything.
Oh, just like their image.
Their image. So that's why, doctors, lawyers, whatever. But that's just a small piece stereotype to it. There's also Asians care a lot about, their title and jobs,
their status wealth.
How much wealth they have.
Right.
And so that's why, I think recently there was a report, don't quote me on it, but there was a report that said, recently Koreans, it was like a country that had huge, they're one of the largest purchasers or recent purchasers of Louis Vuitton.
Uh-huh.
Or is it LVH?
They're very much into their designer brands.
Exactly. And again,
goods.
It's on image.
Sure.
And so, again, I think skincare as well. That's also image as well.
I see. So skincare, beautifying your skin is just an extension of all that.
Exactly. But also just traditionally in Asian culture, it's like, when you see old Asians, it's just like pale white face and whatever, a lot of skincare.
Yeah.
And I think over the years, they've developed a lot of really good skincare. And that's why
I see. Skin. Yeah, they do have access to a lot.
And also they don't like the sun.
Right, I was gonna say you always see the Asian ladies with the visors, full face masks.
Yeah.
And, the other day I saw this Asian lady jogging down my street, and she was wearing a giant sun hat, and she had a long sleeve shirt on with gloves. Sunglasses, fully decked out. Mm-hmm. It was 100 degrees out, and she's just like. Even you'll wear a hoodie with the hood on. You'll look exactly like that in 100 degrees. You were doing that the other day. I'm like. Are you insane? You look like a crazy person right now. And you're like, yeah, but the sun. I'm like, how is that? But I guess it explains it because your skin's fucking flawless. Why do Asians eat so much rice? Just culturally, you guys are really good at growing that rice.
Yeah, really. Yeah, rice fields and everything.
Bunch of rice pickers.
Yeah, but I think I don't know if I know obviously it used to be food for the wealthy back in time.
Rice used to be.
Yeah, because you had to every single one you had to peel used to be for the wealthy, and then eventually over time development whatever.
Right, rice is one of the best things ever.
It is so good.
Just eating rice with meat, any kind of meat.
So satisfying.
Why do Asians use chopsticks?
I would love to know.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought we could answer most of these questions ourselves.
These questions. I'm so
I
lost.
thought you would be an expert. I thought you should probably know more about your people than you do.
I think I probably know more about the why do white people do this and that. I probably know more about that.
Yeah, that's true because we are from LA.
I'm more white than I am.
Yeah.
In the Asian standards, I am more white. In the American standards, I'm more Asian.
Yeah, right. So it just depends on the context. From whose perspective are we talking about?
Yeah.
I remember always being super Asian, feeling super Asian in middle school because it was mostly white and Hispanic.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then when I went to my high school, it was all Asian, and I felt really westernized and just white.
Yeah.
But I always say you can tell how Asian someone is or how whitewashed they are based on their lunch, what they bring to if they're a student, what they bring for lunch.
What does that make you?
Pretty white, because I would have like my mom would like make me a sandwich, pack me a sandwich, or like some pasta, some leftover slices of pizza with like an applesauce, like literally, and a yogurt, go-gurt thing, fruit snacks. Whereas like the real Asians, they would have like a multi-story.
Yeah, that's me.
Like container, right? Like a plastic container with like levels to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was me.
And there would always be like rice. There'd be some eel. You used
to have eel as a kid. Yeah, when I was in elementary school, I have rice. I have eel with the eel sauce on it and stuff.
Yeah, I think I made that joke once. I was like, I used to bring for lunch. I'd bring sandwiches. You would bring the cast of The Little Mermaid.
Wow! I can't even talk to you. I'm at risk of getting canceled because I'm talking to you.
But I was always jealous of like the really Asian lunches because they always look really good.
That's funny because obviously the Asian, you always want what you don't have. Like you said, you got McDonald's, bro.
Well, my mom would occasionally bring me McDonald's, which is always like, you're the shit. Like when your parents would bring you McDonald's for lunch in front of all your friends and like the whole school, and everyone saw it, like you were the goat.
Yeah,
you were the goat. You were the king that day. You ruled.
So jealous.
Just have it, and just like it felt so good to just like eat those McDonald's fries in front of your friends. You'd be like, oh yeah, that's so good. They'd be like, can I get some? Like, no. You really can't.
Everyone's like trying to trade with you, and you're just like, there's nothing better.
Yeah, no. There's nothing that you can offer me.
Literally.
Oh, it was the best. What else can we talk about?
Was there a question about age gap and stuff?
Oh yeah, someone had asked, how old you are and what the difference is between our ages. Do you care to share your age with the class?
With the class? Well, I'm 10 years younger than you.
So they can deduce. I'm 34.
Yeah, so I'm 24.
So unless they can't do basic arithmetic, they have no idea how old you are. Yeah, it's always an interesting thing to talk about, and I feel like for sure there's like endless amounts of things to make fun of each other for.
As proven by parts of this podcast. But like there's always some reference that one of us doesn't get, whether it's like on the too old side or the too young side, where like you don't know who this actor is, right? Yeah.
Or you'll be like, you don't know who this influencer is, or this trend.
Yeah.
You've never seen this trend before. But it's always fun to like. It gives us this infinite ammunition.
Yeah.
To use against each other at all times, which is very fun. And it's also very like interesting because you kind of learn a little bit about that generation's culture.
Right. Yeah.
Like I know certain things about Gen Z and like things that Gen Z are interested in that my friends my age have no idea
right,
about.
Yeah.
Because of you.
I mean, also your friends are very like nerdy too.
Yeah, they are nerdy.
I think they're more the versus like.
Right. They kind of just they're not super into social media.
Exactly, right. Like somebody I think one of your friends would, but the other ones no.
But I mean, honestly, it's not super common for millennials, like people my age, to really be as immersed in social media as Gen Z.
Oh wait, actually, no. I was gonna say that because like everyone your age is having kids and stuff.
Exactly.
But actually, no. One of your friends who just had a kid, he's like really social. He knows.
Some of them are, yeah. But I would say on average, like the younger you are, the more in tune you are with all that world.
Yeah, for sure.
But I would say outside of certain pop culture references, we don't really notice much of an age gap between us. When we're just hanging out and talking or whatever, like it doesn't really ever come up. It doesn't ever feel like there's a large gap. Yeah,
it's more it's just like the jabs or like pop culture references. Besides that,
right?
Debates. I think debates that you see not necessarily like morals or really like immaturity or maturity. It's more like our debates and our values may differ a little.
Right. Maybe in terms of like. I have a more. Would you say I'm a slightly more conservative?
Yeah.
That was a fast answer.
It is. It's true.
And I generally feel like that's the case. Like usually it's the younger people who are more liberal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like I've gotten a bit more conservative as I've gotten older. I'd still consider myself fairly liberal overall. Mm-hmm. But I think there's just certain things when you're really splitting hairs and you and I discuss certain things where you can tell like, oh, you definitely have like this younger liberal mentality.
Yeah, right.
I've got this older conservative mentality. And we've gotten into it a few times about certain things. Yeah,
there were moments where I was just like, this conversation has to stop. It's just I can't. I'm like at a point where I'm just like,
where you get super.
I get super. You get so heated. I'm just like,
you can't. Yeah.
Certain topics, I'm just.
And
At a certain point, you're like just like poking the bear, and it's just like.
It's fun. It's fun to talk about that stuff, but not when I
Your life is at risk.
Making you, yeah, exactly. When I'm about to get my eyes gouged out. I think outside of that, we don't really look that too far off either. Our age.
I guess you look not bad.
Okay, so a couple things going for me. I do feel like I have I look fairly young for my age, and that's only based on I don't personally think that about myself. This is just based on what people have told me. Like
bouncers,
right?
Bouncers, yeah.
Like where were we at? Long Beach or something?
Long Beach, yeah.
Where the guy looked at my ID. What did he say?
He took a double take, and it was I don't remember what he said.
He was just like, dude, I thought you were.
Yeah,
you were 18 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like.
But then I remember like also when I got my first COVID vaccine, actually, I had to show my ID, and like the nurse was like, "Oh my God, you're 33 years old or 32 at the time." He's like, "You look so young." I was like, "Sweet."
You gotta start wearing baseball caps or something.
Yeah, maybe. To make myself look older?
Younger.
Oh, younger. Backwards hat.
Like hide the hairline.
No,
Expression change. The way you're just expression.
Took me a while to figure that one out. Yeah, I didn't quite get what you were saying there, but no, that's very rude. I would say, like, I'm only a few inches taller than you two.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I think that helps. But even if I was a lot taller than you, like,
I don't think it'd make that much.
I don't think it would make much of a difference.
Yeah,
it's just like young people that are super tall.
Yeah. I think your attire too.
My attire.
You're very like you still have that casual like kind of like nerdy attire, so that really does like help.
I don't shop for clothes often at all, so I still have the same a lot of the same shit from years ago. But I don't know, like, how would you? What are your thoughts on like our age difference?
Not really much. I like, like you said, like there isn't really much of a. I don't notice a difference.
Yeah.
Just like again, pop culture, like the usual basic stuff, but besides that, not really.
Yeah, I think there's sort of like the optics of a wide age gap relationship from society's standpoint can sometimes be negative,
or one's taking advantage of the other for certain reasons.
Right. Or they're both taking advantage of each other for different reasons. Yeah. Or it's like what's the stereotypical scenario? It's the guy is just in it for sex, or just wants a young girl, and then the girl just wants the guy for money and stability.
Yeah.
Which is super cliche. Obviously, it does happen.
Yeah, of course.
You see it all the time. Yeah. But
I mean, if it works for the two people, I don't blame them. Like both people are actually getting something out of it.
Everyone's got to eat, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Like
whether it's food or I can't say it on this podcast. Don't want to get flagged. But I think there is maybe I don't know if I've really ever felt any of that kind of judgment from people that we know. I think it's maybe because people that are around me know me.
That's true. I mean, like, I guess here's a scenario where it's like our age difference. Like, you are older in a situation where people trust you and your decisions more than me.
Yeah.
So the way people react to you, you know, saying it versus me, it's slightly different.
But the flip side of that is that like I should know better, and maybe like I'm manipulating the situation.
Exactly right. That's true. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
It's like more responsibility, but also more accountability.
Yeah, I think it also speaks a lot about the people around you.
Yeah.
Too. Like they trust you and your decisions.
I think it's also because it's like we've been dating for 2 years now.
That's true. By now, yeah.
You know, it's like maybe there was some raised eyebrows in the first few months or the first year. People were like, "What is this?" Is like, because like you have no choice as a person, just it's in our nature to just make snap judgments based on the little bit of information you have.
Right, like 10 years is a lot.
Like it is a lot, yeah. It takes time to sort of warm up to certain things like that and to really get a firm grasp of what's going on.
Exactly right.
You know, what's the dynamic between these two people. But yeah, it's been 2 years. Smooth sailing.
I would kill just to hear like obviously we don't know what people say behind closed doors, but just to hear like someone who like found out 2 years later they're still together, like just to know like what their thoughts were.
Yeah, right. To be a fly in the wall.
Exactly, just
like they're like placing bets on us.
Exactly right, exactly.
Ian's got to cough up $100 because we made it past the 2 year mark.
I'm not lying. Like if I was on the flip side, like I heard like a friend was dating someone who's 10 years older, I would have my doubts.
Sure, and I think a lot of it is just you know, people it's people who care.
Yeah.
People who, just have your best interests at heart. Don't want to see anyone get used or anything like that, anything bad happen.
Of course.
But, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been, I guess, a pretty good relationship so far.
Could be better, but,
I mean, yeah.
Low standards, yes, bare minimum.
Yeah, I've learned to settle. It's, complacency is just...
Everyone should vote and see between me and you, who's settling. Let's see who they vouch for.
Thank you for watching this episode of Super Special, everyone. We will be back next week. But I think that's a good note to end on. We'll call it here. Mel, thank you for being on. You're all right.
We're all right.
You see her? What she's doing? She's the instigator here. Thank you guys for watching, though. Follow the Discord if you haven't yet. It's a great community there. It gives you an opportunity to interact with myself, Ian, and whatever guests we have on. And be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet on YouTube. Super Special Pod. Thank you guys. You want to go get some food?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Oh my god, you're sweating balls.
Am I really?
Well, it looks like you are. Because your hair's super flat.
I'm pretty dry.
Oh, never mind. Your hair's super flat. So it looked like you were just like soaking in sweat.
Sweating from being in the hot seat for that long.